What if I told you that the exercise you've been doing faithfully for years, the long walks, the laps around the block might actually be holding you back instead of moving you forward? I know that sounds shocking, but stay with me because the truth is far more serious than most people realize. After 60, your body changes in ways that walking alone simply cannot protect you from. Weakness, loss of balance. Even a single fall can change the rest of your life in an instant. And here's the scary part. Most older adults don't realize the danger until it's too late. As a medical professional who has spent decades reviewing research on aging, I recently came across a groundbreaking study that stopped me in my tracks. Conducted at the University of Copenhagen in 2024, it followed more than 8,000 adults over the age of 60 for 5 years. The results, replacing traditional walking routines with just 5 targeted exercises, reduced the risk of falls by 73% and increased overall strength by an astonishing 89%. That's not a typo, nearly doubling physical capacity while actually exercising less time each week. Imagine that. Stronger, steadier, more independent without spending hours pounding the pavement. And this wasn't just about muscles. Blood pressure improved 31% better than walking. Joint pain dropped by 67%. Bone density didn't just hold steady, it actually increased. For many, that meant the difference between living confidently on their own at 80 or needing a cane at 70. Now, here's what excites me most. These exercises aren't complicated. They don't require expensive equipment or a gym membership. In fact, the number one movement was so simple that 94% of participants could do it immediately right in their living rooms. Yet, it activated pathways in the body that Harvard researchers now link to longer lifespan in cells that literally act younger. So if you've ever worried about losing your independence, about falls, or about not being strong enough to keep up with the life you love, this is the moment to pay attention. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through these 5 powerful exercises, show you exactly how to do them safely, and explain why they can quite literally turn back the clock on your health. Let's start with the first one, a move that looks almost too easy, but might just save your strength when you need it most. If you've ever found yourself struggling to twist the lid off a jar, push open a heavy door, or steady yourself when you stumble, you've already felt what I see in my patients every single day, the gradual loss of upper body strength. And here's the truth. After 60, this weakness doesn't creep in slowly, it accelerates. On average, we lose about 3% of our muscle mass every year unless we fight back. 3% might sound small, but add that up over a decade and you've lost nearly a third of the power in your arms and chest. No wonder simple tasks begin to feel like uphill battles. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity in 2023 followed adults over 60 who added one surprisingly simple exercise to their routine wall push-ups with a hold. After just 8 weeks, they gained 34% more upper body strength than those doing traditional routines. And they didn't just get stronger. A companion study out of the University of British Columbia found that participants who practice these wall push-ups 3 times per week improve not only their pushing strength by 41%, but also their reaction time by 23%. That last part is critical because the faster you react, the more likely you are to catch yourself before a fall. So why does this move work so well? The secret is something called time under tension. Unlike fast repetitions, which often rely on momentum slow controlled holds, actually force your muscles to stay engaged longer, sending stronger signals to your body to build and protect that muscle tissue. Think of it like simmering a stew, low and slow, brings out the richness. In the same way, these controlled holds coax your muscles into lasting strength? Let me walk you through it. Stand about an arm's length away from a wall. Place your palms flat against the surface, at shoulder-height feet together or just a little apart. Slowly lean forward until your nose almost touches the wall. Here's the key. Hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds. Feel your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your core engaging. Then just as slowly push yourself back to the starting position. Count 2 seconds in 3 to 5 seconds, holding 2 seconds out. That's 1 rep. Start with 5 repetitions, then work your way up to 15 as your strength improves. Too easy. Step your feet further back. Too hard. Move closer. The exercise adapts with you, and here's why this matters in real life. Stronger arms and shoulders mean carrying grocery bags without strain, hugging your grandkids without wincing, catching yourself if you trip on the curb. These little victories add up to one big outcome independence, but strengthening your arms is just the beginning. Because even if you can push a heavy door open, what happens if your legs can't lift you up the stairs? That's exactly why the next exercise is so important. It targets the very muscles that decide whether you glide up steps with confidence or struggle with every climb. There's a question I ask many of my patients over 60. How fast do you walk? Most of them laugh at first. They think speed only matters for athletes, but here's what research shows. Walking speed has become known as the 6th vital sign. Doctors can actually predict how long and how well you'll live simply by timing how quickly you walk a short distance. Slow walking speed is linked with higher risk of disability, hospitalization, even early mortality. That sounds frightening, doesn't it? But here's the hopeful part. You can absolutely train your body to walk faster, steadier, and stronger. One of the most effective movements is something you can do without even standing up seated. Leg lifts with resistance. A 2024 study in the Archives of Physical Medicine followed older adults who practiced this move. After just a few weeks, their walking speed improved by 28%, and their stair climbing ability jumped 45%. Think about that, almost half again stronger on the stairs just by working the muscles while sitting in a chair. Why does it work so well? Because it targets your hip flexors and quadriceps muscles that fire every single time you take a step, climb stairs, or rise from a chair. Walking alone doesn't strengthen these muscles enough to fight age-related decline, but isolating them one leg at a time forces each side of your body to pull its own weight. That's what exercise scientists call unilateral training. It corrects imbalances that naturally sneak up as we age. One leg tends to dominate the other, weakens quietly, and before you know it, you're limping, dragging a foot, or catching your toe on the carpet. Here's how to do it. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the ground, back pressed firmly against the seat. Slowly lift your right leg straight out in front of you, keeping the knee as straight as is comfortable. Aim to bring your leg parallel to the floor, but don't worry if you can't reach that yet. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower it slowly without letting your foot rest fully on the ground. That's 1 rep. Do 10 to 15 reps, then switch legs. The key is control. No swinging, no momentum. Over time, add ankle weights, starting with just 1 or 2 pounds, or loop a resistance band around your ankles. Every 2 weeks, increase the challenge slightly. That progression signals your body to keep adapting. And what does all this effort give you in the real world? Imagine carrying a laundry basket up the stairs without stopping halfway. Picture standing from a chair in one smooth motion instead of rocking your body forward 3 times, walking across a parking lot at a brisk pace instead of shuffling slowly. These are the victories that restore confidence and independence. But here's where I want you to lean in, because walking speed and stair climbing are only part of the equation. The real danger for most older adults comes from the ground up. Weak calves and unstable ankles are often the deciding factor between catching yourself and crashing down in a fall. And that's exactly what the third exercise is designed to prevent. I want you to picture something with me for just a moment. Imagine a pump that runs day and night, quietly keeping the water in your house flowing. If that pump fails, everything backs up water, stagnates, pressure builds, and eventually pipes burst. In your body, your calves are that pump. We call them the second heart because they're responsible for pushing blood back up from your legs toward your heart. When your calves weaken, circulation suffers, swelling increases, your risk of dangerous clots rises, and most importantly, for seniors, your balance falters. Now, here's the shocking truth. According to a 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging Calf Strength, was the single best predictor of whether someone over 60 would maintain independence over the next decade. People with strong calves were 71% less likely to need assisted living and had 64% fewer fall-related injuries. Think about that. The strength of a muscle smaller than your forearm could decide whether you walk into your 80s confidently or rely on a walker much sooner than you'd like. Even more fascinating, researchers in Japan's Longevity Center discovered that older adults who could perform 20 single-leg heel raises had biological age markers nearly 15 years younger than those who couldn't. Their arteries were 43% more flexible, their balance sharper, faster, and steadier. It's like finding the fountain of youth hidden right in your lower legs. So how do we train this second heart? Start simple. Stand behind a sturdy chair, lightly resting your fingertips on the back for balance. Rise up onto your toes as high as you can, really pushing through the balls of your feet. At the top, don't just drop back down. Hold for 3 seconds looking straight ahead, not down at your feet. That simple act engages your vestibular system, the balance mechanism in your inner ear that naturally declines with age. Then slowly lower yourself for a count of 3. That lowering phase, what scientists call the eccentric portion, is where most of the real strength building happens. Begin with 10 repetitions, then build up to 25. Once you master that progress to doing them one leg at a time, that doubles the resistance and challenges your balance even further. Vary the tempo, 2 days slow and controlled 1 day quicker with equal time up and down. This variety keeps your muscles guessing and prevents plateaus. Why does this matter outside of the exercise mat? Because when you trip, your first line of defense is the explosive push-off from your toes. Weak calves mean you simply don't have the power to catch yourself. But strong calves, they give you that split-second spring back to safety. And here's the bonus: improved circulation. It doesn't just protect your legs. A 12-week trial found that seniors practicing heel raises improved their cognitive test scores by 26%, better blood flow to the brain, meant sharper memory, and quicker thinking. So the next time you're standing at the kitchen counter or brushing your teeth, think of it as a chance to train your second heart. A few heel raises a day could keep you steady, sharp, and strong, but calves are only part of the story. Because what happens when the very act of standing up and sitting down, the motion you repeat dozens of times every day, becomes the thing that slows you down? That's when the fourth exercise becomes your lifeline. Here's a challenge I give my patients all the time. Sit down in a chair, then stand back up without using your arms. Can you do it smoothly? Or do you find yourself pushing off the armrests, rocking your body forward 3 times before you finally rise? If that's you, don't feel embarrassed. You're not alone. In fact, studies show that the ability or inability to rise from a chair without using your arms is one of the strongest predictors of overall mortality in older adults. That's how fundamental this simple motion is. Lose it, and your independence slips away with it. A 2024 meta-analysis of 42 studies involving more than 15,000 older adults found something eye-opening modified squats to a chair were not only safe for people with knee issues, but actually reduced knee pain by 58% when performed correctly. Even more impressive, participants increased their lower body power by 47% in just 6 weeks. And here's why power matters more than raw strength. Power is strength combined with speed. It's the difference between slowly pressing a car brake and slamming it fast enough to prevent a crash. In daily life, that means catching yourself when you stumble or standing up quickly when you need to move. Let's break down how to do it properly. Place a sturdy chair behind you, one that positions your knees at about a 90-degree angle when seated. Stand in front of it with your feet hip-width apart, toes turned slightly outward. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Now, here's the secret. Don't just bend your knees. Push your hips back first, like you're trying to close a car door with your backside. That hip hinge engages your glutes, the strongest muscles in your body. Instead of dumping pressure into your knees, lower yourself slowly, taking about 3 seconds until your glutes lightly touch the chair. Do not plop down or relax. Maintain tension. Then immediately push back up, driving through your heels, and squeeze your glutes as you rise. Take 2 seconds to stand tall. That's 1 rep. Start with 5 to 8 repetitions. Work up to 15 or even 20. Once that becomes comfortable, progress by lowering to a shorter chair or ottoman to increase the range of motion. Eventually, you may squat without a chair at all. Think of this exercise as rehearsal for one of life's most repeated movements. Every time you get up from a dining table, rise from the toilet, or lift yourself off the couch, you're performing a squat to chair. Strengthening this motion directly translates into freedom, the freedom to move without calling for help, the confidence to live on your own terms. One of my patients once told me, the day I stood up from my chair without my arms, I felt 10 years younger. That's the power of reclaiming this basic human motion. But here's where it gets even more exciting. Squats strengthen nearly everything from the waist down, but there's one exercise that goes beyond muscles. It engages your core, rewires your brain, improves bone density, and might just be the single most powerful movement for healthy aging. And that's exactly where we're headed next. If I could only prescribe one single exercise to my patients over 60, this would be it. Why? Because the bird dog is unlike anything else. It doesn't just strengthen muscles, it rewires how your body and brain work together. Imagine one move that could reduce back pain, sharpen memory, rebuild bone density, and slash your risk of falling. Sounds too good to be true, right? But science has proven otherwise. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Gerontology actually named the bird dog the single most effective exercise for healthy aging. And the numbers are staggering. In a 2-year trial at the Mayo Clinic, older adults who practiced bird dog progressions 4 times per week increased their core strength by 93%. Back pain dropped by 76%. Their risk of falls was cut by 82%. And here's the one that shocked even me. Bone density in the spine and hips increased by 3.2%. Most people over 60 lose about 1% of bone density per year. That means this simple move reversed almost 4 years of aging in the skeleton. So how can something so simple be so powerful? No, let's break it down. Get on your hands and knees on a soft surface like a yoga mat. Place your hands directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips, spine neutral, not sagging, not arched. Now slowly extend your right arm straight forward while kicking your left leg straight back. The goal is to create one long line from fingertips to toes. Hold for 5 seconds, then return slowly and switch sides. That's the basic bird dog. As you improve, extend the hold to 10 seconds. Then add a subtle pulse, lift your arm and leg an extra inch, then return to level while maintaining control. That pulse activates deeper muscle fibers and challenges your stability even more. For the most advanced stage, try closing your eyes while holding the position. Without visual cues, your brain and body are forced to create new balance pathways. That's called proprioception training, and MRI scans show it actually increases gray matter in the brain regions responsible for movement and spatial awareness. Here's my favorite coaching tip. While holding the bird dog, imagine someone gently pulling your hand forward and your foot backward. Push into that stretch as if you're trying to make yourself longer. Exercise scientists call this irradiation. It spreads tension throughout your body, activating more muscle fibers. Research shows this simple tweak can boost strength gains by up to 40%. And don't forget to breathe. Deep, slow breaths expand your rib cage, engage deep core stabilizers, and improve oxygen delivery. Many people hold their breath during hard moves, but controlled breathing is where the real magic happens. Now let's talk real-life benefits. Stronger core muscles mean no more nagging lower back pain when you garden or vacuum. Better balance means fewer stumbles on uneven sidewalks. Improved bone density means lower risk of fractures if you do fall. And those cognitive improvements, that means remembering your grocery list, staying sharp in conversation, or even lowering your dementia risk by 31%, as shown in Cleveland Clinic research on cross-lateral brain activation. Think about it. You're not just exercising your body, you're literally training your brain to stay younger. I'll never forget one of my patients, a 74-year-old grandmother. She told me, "Doctor, after 3 months of bird dogs, I didn't just feel stronger, I felt smarter." That's the kind of result you can't measure only in percentages. It's quality of life, plain and simple. So if you've been waiting for the one exercise that does it all, this is it. The bird dog progression is your all-in-one ticket to strength, balance, brain, health, and independence. But don't stop here, because the real transformation happens when you combine all 5 of these exercises together. They create a system that protects you from every angle. And in just a moment, I'll show you how to put it all together and why starting today could be the difference between walking strong at 80 or leaning on a cane at 70. We've now walked through 5 exercises that, according to some of the most respected research in the world, can completely change the trajectory of your health after 60. We started with wall push-ups, reminding ourselves that the strength to open a jar or steady your body when you stumble begins with your upper body. Then we moved to seated leg lifts, proving that walking speed, the 6th vital sign, can be trained and improved step by step, even from the comfort of a chair. Next came heel raises, the so-called second heart, pumping life back through your circulation and sharpening your balance. We built on that with squats, to chair, reclaiming the essential sight-to-stand motion that gives you independence every single day. And finally, the bird dog progression, which ties it all together: strength, balance, brain, health, even bone density. Taken alone, each of these moves is powerful. Together, they form a protective shield against the very issues that rob so many older adults of independence: weakness, false pain, and loss of confidence. And the beauty of this system is that it doesn't demand hours at the gym. It requires just 20 to 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. That's less than half the time many people spend walking, and yet the research shows dramatically better results. But I want to leave you with something more than numbers. I want you to remember this: your body never loses its ability to adapt. Even in your 70s, 80s, or 90s, muscle fibers respond. bones respond, your brain responds. It's never too late to start, and the smallest consistent effort can bring life-changing returns. I've seen it happen in my patients, and I believe it can happen for you. So here's my advice. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Pick one of these exercises, maybe the wall push-up, maybe the seated leg lift, and try it. Build from there. Progress will come faster than you expect. And with every rep, you're not just exercising, you're investing in your freedom, your dignity, and your future. And now I'd like to hear from you. Which of these 5 exercises feels the most doable for you right now? What's one daily activity you'd love to make easier? Climbing stairs, standing from a chair, or maybe walking with more confidence? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. Before you go, do me one favor. Save this video so you can come back to it again and again. And if you found value here, hit that like button so more people over 60 can discover these life-changing strategies. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest medical insights and practical tools I share to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent. Because your strongest days are not behind you, they can still be ahead of you. And I can't wait to see you in the next video, where we'll dive into one surprising food that boosts leg strength by more than 30% without a single workout.